Park Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar. Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, and we are here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill for the Wednesday edition of the Game Sports Show. It is October the 24th, 2018. It is yours truly, David McCaig, and I am going to be alongside Jamie Antonello and Matt Premo tonight. I'll bring in the fellas in just a few moments. I want to say thank you to our board operator tonight, Scott Nason. I say thank you to the listeners, obviously, for making us a part of your night, and to the great staff here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, and also to the lively atmosphere here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. As always, we're here for its famous Wednesday wing nights at 75 cents a wing. Where can you get better price for wings than that, and more delicious wings for that fact? And also, when it comes to football time here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, make Sunday part of your day here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. For the Sunday game day draws, we have a chance to win 4 tickets to the Miller Lite Tap Room at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. On November the 4th, we will have a Week 11 and a Week 12 giveaway for the Panthers and Bears games at Ford Field in November. So those are 2 draws, and when you come here on Sunday, you have a chance to get tickets for that. You must be 18 years of age or older to participate, obviously, in the event. Now, here tonight on the Sportscenter Bar and Grill edition of the Game Sports Show, we're going to be talking our year-round In the Pocket segment with local football, where we have a lot of news with local football. We're going to be talking the NFL with Week 7 reaction recap, and we're going to be discussing Week 8 with our predictions and also some updates involving Week 8. And we'll also be touching on the variety of topics like we possibly could as best as possible. We will for sure talk about the Toronto Raptors, and we'll hopefully get into some more sports if possible, if time allows us to do so as well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the fellas. Matt Premo, Jamie Antonello. First going over to Matt, wearing the purple Laurier shirt today. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, maybe a bad time to be wearing the Laurier colors after they missed the playoffs this year, after being ranked in the top 10 basically all season. But no, glad to be back. Couple-week hiatus, but lots to talk about this week with the city finals and local high school football, and with the trade deadline coming up in the NFL and everything that's going on there. So excited about it.
Definitely a lot of news in the football ranks. In terms of Sault Ste. Marie and football, I obviously had Amari Cooper get traded to the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll get to that later on in the show. Jamie, over to you, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, happy to be back and talk about the city finals as we're going forward for local football here. And I'm curious to see how Preems feels about his Giants becoming giant sellers right now, just selling the farm. I mean, you go 1-6, lose on Monday nighter, and it is what it is. You got to move on.
You got to do it.
I think it was me that told you, Preems, I thought the Giants were going to struggle this year. I don't know if you remember me saying that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I was hoping they would make a run push for the playoffs, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen right now, and I think you got to start rebuilding for next year, and I think that's what we're doing, so can't argue with what management's doing. No, definitely not. We'll get to the NFL side of things later on in the show. Like I said, the first part's going to be talking about local football. We're going to get to in just a few moments. So one thing that I want to shoot out here is you're listening to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show on thegamesportshow.com or on the Podbean page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com. You may be potentially listening to it on the Scott Nason YouTube channel as well. So, we appreciate you coming by, but a big thing I want you to really look into is not only veer over to the merchandise section where you can see the great Game Sports Show t-shirts that you can purchase with the donations going towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother Big Sister. You can purchase those t-shirts on the website, and soon to be you'll be able to purchase these shirts at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. You'll be able to purchase the shirts at Northern Spirit Brewing Company and also at Sioux Thunderbird Games. We'll have those available to purchase where you just fill out an order form and we will get the order in for you. You can pay via e-transfer or cash to the representative that is selling. So either SportsCenter Northern or Thunderbird Games will have an envelope where you can pay, and we'll get you the shirt within 3 to 5 days. Now, one thing that Primo wasn't able to come to earlier in the week, we had our beer tasting. The Game Ale. Delicious beer that is being launched on behalf of Northern Superior Brewing Company, myself, Jamie, Dane Hantro, which is a name to many viewers that haven't heard in quite some time since he's been away in the summer. He will be back in a couple weeks full-time on the show, hopefully for both Wednesday and Thursday editions. But he was on hand. We also had some friends
that were on hand there, with Anthony Greco being on board there as well. But we had Blake Winter there as well, who's the brewmaster for Northern Superior Brewing Company. We got to give him thanks to him for brewing the beer and putting up with me for the past few months with ideas and names and all that kind of stuff to call in. Obviously to Trevor Zachary there at Northern Superior Brewing Company. That beer was absolutely delicious. I'm going to pick up 2 growlers after the show here tonight to bring home to sample around different restaurants, because we are planning to carry it at a few local participating restaurants here in Sault Ste. Marie. And also, we're going to be available on sale hopefully by the end of next week is the projection, but I'm going to let Northern make that launch. They're going to make the launch on their website and social media pages when it is available for purchase. You're going to be able to purchase it in growlers, kegs, but soon down the road we're going to even have it where you can purchase it with cans, hopefully, as well. So the Game Ale, a delicious beer touching your taste buds very soon. It's game time for real, fellas. Now, let's jump right into the local stuff, fellas. I know you guys have touched football tonight, so we got a little bit of time constraints. We'll try to get everything as clear and as quick and dirty as we possibly can with providing the best news that we can. Preems, I'm going to slide over to you. City championships going on. You got the Friday, the senior game between Cora and St. Mary's. The junior game is Cora and Superior Heights, and that's on Saturday. So you got loads of great football to go watch. The Game Sports Show is going to be there on Friday night. Yours truly and hopefully Justin for the senior finals, and also plan to go there on Saturday to get some on-scene coverage, little sound bites of the game, and make a little special edition to make it a little cool for the viewers. Core football obviously really thriving, being in both games. Going to be very exciting games this weekend here in the Sioux for the high school football.
Yeah, definitely exciting times. If anyone went and watched the semifinals for the senior loop, what a game that was, going to overtime. Couldn't ask for better entertainment for local high school sports. Yeah, it was great. So if that's any indicator of what the finals are going to look like, it should be exciting and entertaining. Hopefully, as a coach at Core, we hope that we end up on top, obviously. And we've had 2 weeks to prepare now. We're fortunate enough to have a bye last week with White Pines being forced to fold the last part of the season. So we've had a couple weeks to prepare. We think we've done a good job preparing. We know it's going to be a good game. They got a lot of solid players on the other side, and me and Jamie know a lot of the players well. We coach a lot of them in the summer, and there's definitely a lot of talent over there. So we're definitely going to have to bring our A game and expect to be a close, hard-fought game. And really looking forward to the junior final as well. Jamie's had a lot of success this year. Obviously, they haven't lost a game, and over the last couple of years, they've had success winning multiple championships. So looking forward to seeing that game as well, and hopefully they can three-peat and bring another championship back to Core in the junior loop. In terms of the high school loop, was also just today, I believe, announced the awards for the high school loop. So we were lucky enough to have a couple of award winners at Cora. 5 total, and a couple more for League All-Stars. Jamie, do you want to, before we get into the awards, you want to touch on the junior final and what fans can expect?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar to the senior loop, White Pines in junior folded and were unable to play their semifinal game against us, so we got a bye to the final as well. And we're playing Superior Heights. They played us both times we played in the regular season. We came out on top, but both very tough games. We know they're going to come out hard, and the hardest thing right now is keeping guys mentally focused. Right, we were 6-0 undefeated. We haven't really been tested a ton. Like I said, our 2 biggest tests have been against Superior Heights, but I'm really looking forward to the game. It's Saturday at 1. I mean, we got a full week to prepare. Guys are really focusing. I thought we had a really great practice today, and things are starting to come together. And like Matt said, right, the core football is the place to be right now, and we're hoping to continue that. I'm going for 3 in a row. I mean, the senior team's going for 2 in a row, and really looking forward to the weekend of football. I mean, and just to touch back on those semifinal games, that senior semi between St. Mary's and Superior Heights goes to overtime. St. Mary's gets away with a 22-14 win. Great game. Really good weather game, too. I mean, it was a nice night. Wasn't too cold. Weather wasn't a factor, so you really got to see both teams' full potential on display. And in the junior semi, it was more of a blowout. The Superior Heights Steelhawks defeated St. Mary's pretty handily, 37-15. So I'm really curious to see what the weekend's going to bring. And, again, really happy. I mean, league awards are fantastic, and I think you'll ask any of our players, and they all know there's one trophy thereafter, and that's right now it's that city championship trophy we're looking for. So.
Yeah, just a little breakdown for those that weren't able to catch the game last Friday. I mean, first half, it looked like it was completely dominated by Superior Heights. They were running the ball at will. They went kind of to a power I formation they haven't showed all season, really, and they are having a lot of success moving the ball on the ground. They look good. They really controlled the pace of play in the game in the first half. And one mistake kind of turned the tide near the end of the first half. A high snap on a punt team ended up turning the ball over within like 2 minutes of the first half being over. St. Mary's ended up capitalizing and coming out of the tied 7-7 at halftime, when really they should have been down by maybe a couple scores. So something like that, something so small can turn the game so quickly. The second half, it was a lot more even in the second half. I still think Superior Heights had a couple chances to put the game away. I mean, they just didn't do it, and St. Mary's fought and clawed their way and stayed in the game and managed to finish the fourth quarter with a tie. Going into overtime, it was pretty wild. On first down, a bad snap. St. Mary's gives up a big loss, so it's second and long. Second down, they run a draw play to Pagnata, and the guy's the offensive most valuable player this year for a reason. Rips off about a 25-yard run to get a first down. Very, very impressive run. And then to add on to that, there was also a face mask that brought it down to near the goal line. And again, they gave the ball to Pagnata again, and he punched it in with a nice hard run. He looked like he was going to be stopped short in second effort, and he got in. And then
extra point too was.
Yeah, that's right. And they're kicking the extra point, going for the single point. High snap, and the holder is able to get up and get out of the pocket and roll and get to the sideline and actually get in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And then Superior Heights got their opportunity to possess the ball and were unable to do anything. It was a three and out, I believe, and that was it. And now St. Mary's gets to face Cora in the final. So definitely an exciting game. I encourage everyone to get out and watch, support local sports. A lot of great athletes, as we mentioned in the past. Some of these guys are going to see them playing at the next level in the youth sports level. So definitely going to be an exciting game, and really looking forward to it.
Great stuff, fellas. Now, you touched on the awards before you jumped into that, and obviously I couldn't agree more with getting your rear ends out there to watch the local football, especially the finals. Definitely some great football, and if there's any indication of how that final is going to be compared to last week's game, it's going to be some exciting football, and going into the end of Friday and Saturday's games for the senior and junior ranks. Now, Tyler Bretchen was named the Brecken. Thank you very much. I always like butchering last names. This makes me seem weird and interesting. But he won the most outstanding player in high school football. He was titled in a Sault Ste article as Mr. MVP. Pretty bold title by the one and only Peter Ricci. But I will say that definitely it seems well-deserved. He's played away all over the field. He two-way star is what he was referred to as: slot receiver, linebacker, safety, defensive end, and quarterback in 2018 season. Played everywhere. And obviously, Coach Annett, who was on the show last week, and you can check last week's edition on the gamesportshow.podbean.com by scrolling down a little bit. Tom was a very great interview and obviously a great guest, and obviously he's very excited about his player winning MVP. So, fellas, getting into the MVP, obviously Nick Pagnata winning MVP. It's the full list goes on in the Sault Ste. You got Tyler Halib, Superior Heights, Jake Russian with White Pines. These guys were nominated. You got guys that you got to give respect to, those guys that were nominated as well, especially with the White Pine ranks with Jake Russian. A lot of names are on the website with what you can see, and obviously, like I said, the Sabercats Award, which is the top offensive player, went to Nick Pagnata. You had Jordan Robinson White, who was actually on the show in the summer, was nominated for that award here from Cora. Then you have given to the league's outstanding players. Guys that were nominated were Julian Joya and Davin Mbuzno. But you had Joe Rosso and Jacob Jerkich from Cora, and the one from Superior Heights were co-winners of the Steelers Award for that. So a lot of names, a lot of good players on that, like I said, that were runners-up and that won the award. So I'm just going to slide over to you, Matt, in terms of more in-depth about the winners that won the award, and a little congratulations out to the fellas.
Yeah, when we're looking at this list, one thing that me and Jamie like to see is we see a lot of Sabercats names on that list. It's a testament to the program that we run in the summer, as well as the other high school programs. They're developing these players. These are great players. So we like to see a lot of those names, and we like to see a lot of those names on the list out next year as well. In terms of we're talking about Tyler Breeken, if you got a chance to read the article, you notice that Tom Ennis said he might be one of the most gifted natural athletes he's ever coached, which is a huge statement considering some of the players that Tom has coached. There's a long list of guys that have made it to the youth sports level that Tom's coached from his time at Sir James Dunn specifically. And did he had 1 year when it was Superior Heights when the Dunn was changing over? No. Done Decor. So I mean, he's coached a lot of great athletes, and he's coached a lot of these athletes in the summer with the SaberCats as well. So that's a huge statement. As you mentioned in the article, Tyler's only been really playing football for 3 years, which is a testament to the athlete he is. Definitely deserving of the award this year. We believe that he might be the first grade 11 to ever win the award as a grade 11. So that's special in itself. And Tyler's been a pleasure to coach. I get to work with him on a daily basis with the receivers. And obviously he plays all over field. He plays receiver, slot receiver. He plays Sam linebacker. He also plays safety. He can basically play anywhere on the field. But he's also a very humble kid. And you look at the article, he thanks his teammates and his coaches. You couldn't ask for a better kid to coach. You talk to him, you coach him up, and he listens, and he puts it right into practice right away, which is, from a coach standpoint, you can't ask for anything more. But definitely deserving. You look across the board, all the award winners, I couldn't argue with any one of them. I think the coaches got it right. Obviously, I'm not in the room voting. It's the head coaches that are voting. But from knowing most of these players and coaching them in the summer and coaching against them during the high school season, I think they got it right. Looking at the offensive most valuable player being Nick Pagnotta. He's another grade 11 that's doing big things at the senior level right away, which is impressive. But he started this year with the JV SaberCats, so it's not surprising. And what he put together this year with the rushing yards he put up and the touchdowns he put up, not surprising that he was the most offensive valuable player this year. On the defense side of the ball, two guys very deserving. Had the opportunity to coach both these guys in the summer, coach Jacob in the fall. So Jacob Jurch and Joe Rosso, again, two great players, great kids, great teammates. Joe Rosso won our Coaches Award. Can't say much more about the kid. Great kid. Jacob Jurch just shows up to work every day, hard-nosed football player, definitely deserving. Lineman again, Hunter Lambert Musso. Guy's a stud on the D-line O-line. You definitely know where he is. He makes an impact on every game if you're watching him. What any awards I'm missing here? Rocky DiPietro. How could I forget? Trav Johnson. Back-to-back years, which is impressive. I only know one other person. My good friend Noel Russian won it back-to-back. So he's in an elite company there, winning the award 2 years in a row. That's a very special honor as it goes to the top receiver in the loop, and obviously Rocky DiPietro, everyone knows about him and his success in the football world. So definitely a prestigious award. And Trav, great receiver, great football player. Had a great summer for this. Had a good year for us in the summer. Had another good year this fall, and we're really looking forward to what he can have to bring back to the SaberCats next summer as well. So really happy for all these kids, and as we go through it, and I realize that more and more SaberCats players, it makes me happy as a coach, these guys having success. But as Jamie mentioned, all these guys will probably trade these individual awards in for the state championship trophy on Friday.
Dave McCaig alongside Matt Premo and Jamie Antonello. Going to go over to you, Jamie, for some final thoughts with the awards with the local football. I know you're close with Tom, obviously he's a mentor of yours, so obviously you see, and with the grade 11 winning that MVP is definitely flashes of just being a pure athlete, especially when you're just new to the game of football, sort of. So getting over to you, just a reaction to echo basically what Matt said.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Matt said. I mean, he labeled it, and the big thing is for he and I specifically is how many SaberCat guys were A, nominated, and B, won awards. So that's absolutely huge. All the major award winners in the senior loop all play SaberCats. And speaking specifically about Tyler, he won junior MVP last year, so it's kind of crazy to think he went back-to-back, especially making the leap. But, I mean, he put in a lot of work in the offseason, right? Strength training was big for him, plays a lot of sports. He's a natural athlete. And he's still understanding the game, right? The more and more you have to be in the game for a long time before you really feel like you're grasping everything. And even at that, right, there's always more you can learn. But fantastic kid, right? He keeps himself humble. Make sure his desire to compete is probably his best trait, if I had to pinpoint one of them. And the rest of the guys, I mean, I'm not going to beat it over the head, but Joe Rosso, Jacob Juris, those guys are awesome. They're both starting linebackers for us in the summer. Hunter, winning lineman, I mean, he played a little bit of O-line for us in the summer. Was a stalwart on the D-line. Might have the best conditioning for a big guy I've ever seen. Never needs to come off the field. Always has juice. Trav Johnson, I mean, he led our team in catches last year for the SaberCats. Back-to-back Rockies. I mean, he's a threat wherever he gets the ball. And then Pagnotta is just absolutely electric. That's the best way I can describe him. Absolutely crushed the Junior Varsity SaberCat League last year. And at any moment, he can take it to the house. Doesn't matter where the ball is. Doesn't matter how good you defend it. If one guy gets out of the way, he's gone. So, but I wanted to touch on the junior loop a little bit. We almost got the sweep in awards for Cora. We went 3 for 4. Michael Nicoletta won league MVP in junior. Ryan Barnes took home lineman of the year in junior. Nathan Laginen was offensive player of the year. And then Aaron Grandinetti from St. Mary's ended up taking home the defensive player of the year. But it was that defensive player of the year was very good. Nathan Kiernan was our nominee. And I thought he was deserving, but I mean, it's just the way the votes go. And Aaron Grandinetti had a fantastic year. He absolutely deserves it. Made a ton of tackles both times he played us. Is all over the field. He played another SaberCats kid, so really happy to see those guys have success. But really hoping that all these guys can just keep playing football, right? And the future of Cora football is real bright. Hopefully the league is in a real good spot competitiveness-wise. Hopefully that can maintain. You saw a lot of really competitive games in the senior level. Hopefully White Pines can get that program back up and running and start competing in games. But the future's real bright in high school football, and really looking forward to this weekend.
And like Jamie just said, the season's still not done. We've got 2 games. Friday, senior championship, that is at 7:30. And Saturday at 1 o'clock. That is the first game will be Cora against St. Mary's, and then Cora against Superior, and it will be at Superior Heights will be the games. Obviously a great place to watch some good football and local football. So as I say every week when it comes to local sports on every show, get your asses to support local football or local sports, local hockey, doesn't matter. Get out there and support it because the talent locally is just fantastic, especially when it comes to football this upcoming weekend. Now, in terms of weather, dress a little bit warm. It's not going to be like a winter weather out there, I don't figure, but definitely dress nice and warm. And make sure you support both Cora St. Mary's or both Cora and Superior Heights, or both games hopefully you can make. Now, fellas, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to enjoy some some wings, some beer. We are going to pay some bills when we hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to be talking the National Football League with Week 7 reaction from Roundtable from myself, Jamie, and from Matt. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com or on thegamesportshow.com or on the YouTube channel, Scott Nason. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the 2nd year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Jamie Antonello and Matt Premo, live from Sportscenter Bar and Grill on the Sportscenter edition of the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show on the Podbean page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, the website, thegamesportshow.com, or on YouTube, titled Scott Nason. And thank you for making us a part of your night, as always, here on the Game Sports Show. Now, fellas, continuing our In the Pocket segment, we've already talked about the local football scene. We're going to jump into the National Football League scene from last week. There were some trades last week. Trade deadline coming around the corner. You know, it's definitely an exciting time in terms of trades. I always say that the NFL trade deadline is not like the NHL trade deadline by any means, but still some exciting stuff. And the National Football League is going to go on with the next week and some change. And obviously last week that just passed, a lot of good football was played, I feel. And you know what, even if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you should be pretty excited to even play a game and he moved up 2 spots in the standings. So definitely exciting week last week, and you are going to hear myself, Jamie, and Matt discuss last week right now. And fellas, getting underway. Week 7, there were some blowouts. You got the Broncos that absolutely thumped. I got the look again. Last week I said throbbed. Thumped 45-10 over the Cardinals. And then if you have another game that you want to consider a thumping, would be the Colts and Bills. 37-5. The Bills just looking not relevant right now in this league. The Giants and Falcons was not a throttling by any means. It was 23-20 in the game. We were able to watch Monday Night Football. We were watching at Northern Superior Brewing Company as the beer was getting launched for the game ale. You know, the Chiefs defeated the Bengals 45-10. A lot of high-scoring games. The Ravens and Saints, I think, was, my early spoiler, I'm going to say right now, the game of the week. Big part of it, I'm going to say, is because Justin Tucker missed a freaking extra point. Never seen that happen, and when you're a Steeler fan, to see the Ravens lose and the Bengals in one night, that is a pretty exciting time. Patriots and Bears, I loved that game of football, 38-31. It was just a great week all around. Now, we're not going to go into every game. I'm not going to say what every score was. Just going to go around the table. We're going to talk about last week, Week 7, the National Football League. I'm going to start with you, Preems.
So this season I stayed away from talking about my Giants mostly, but I think that's where I'm going to have to go this week. I mean, close one. They dropped to 1-6. Looks like the season's basically over. I know a lot of people are questioning the head coach's decision to go for 2 there. If you're into analytics and looking at the analytics, it says to go for 2. When it works, we praise the coach. When it doesn't work, we get on him, we tell him it's a bad decision, and we criticize him. I'm okay with that decision to go for 2 at that point in the game. I don't think that was the difference between winning or losing. I think they got a lot of holes on that offensive line that need to be fixed. Obviously, Eli Manning is regressing. I think he's definitely close to being out the door, retire or traded or whatever they decide to do, let him go. His best days are clearly behind him. And I think a lot of it, if you look at the successful quarterbacks now in the NFL, these guys can move. Eli can't move. He's a sitting duck back there. Every time the pass rush gets close, he's basically going down. He doesn't have the foot speed. If you look like Mahomes and you look at even Aaron Rodgers and Wentz and Goff, these guys they're mobile guys, right? And a lot of their big plays come off that play action, and they're able to get out of the pocket or step up into the pocket and move around and create extra time and hit those big deep throws downfield. And that's just something Eli can't do, so it really limits the offensive play calling. I know they want to get on the OC and the play calling, but he does limit them in a sense to what they can do. They have some good receivers. They have some good pieces there. You got Odell Beckham Jr., arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL. You got Sterling Shepard, good piece. You got Ingram, who could be one of the most dynamic tight ends in the NFL. But we've yet to see him utilized. I know he's been injured and he missed a game or 2. But I think they have pieces. I think they got to shore up that offensive line. They got to get a quarterback next year in the draft, or trade for a quarterback, or find someone that. I don't know if there's anyone out there. I don't know what teams will be willing to part with. Sam Bradford. I don't want Sam Bradford. I don't want Sammy Sleeves. I'm good. No, I don't know. I think they maybe look at a quarterback in the draft. I know they had a couple of quarterbacks they drafted. They ended up letting them go, and so I don't know what their thinking was there. Hopefully they can get one in the draft or get someone free agency. It looks like they're starting to rebuild. The Falcons, Julio Jones still without a touchdown. I think he leads the league in yardage and still doesn't have a touchdown. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get on the board soon. But I mean, the Falcons are still in play. I like the Falcons. I got Matt Ryan on my fantasy team. He's putting up a lot of points this year. He's having a good season. Their defense, I know they got a lot of injuries on the defense side of the ball, but they're staying relevant. They're still in the hunt. Be interesting to see if they make a playoff push in the NFC. Maybe get some of these guys back healthy and try and sneak into the playoffs. Maybe. I mean, it was a good game. They had a chance at the end there with an onside kick to maybe get the ball back and tie it. So it was exciting. Maybe not as close as the score actually indicated, because I know the Giants scored late and then had the onside kick. But the Giants are obviously in total rebuild mode. They've made a couple trades already. Eli Apple gone to the Saints, and David Harrison gone to Detroit for a couple draft picks. So I think they're doing the right thing. They're going to load up on draft picks, look to reload. They do have some nice pieces there, I think, and they're not too far off. But definitely, I think quarterback's going to be a big focus for them in the next year's draft or free agency. They got the best running back maybe potentially in the NFL. Saquon, obviously, and teams know that he's where the ball going. They're giving it to him, and he's still putting up loads of yards. So excited to see what the future's in store for him. Hopefully, they can turn around quickly. As a fan, I like to see it make a push next year for the playoffs. It might be 2 years away. So that's my take. And unfortunately, I didn't get to watch a ton of games this week. But definitely things are starting to kind of shape up here, and we're starting to see who the real contenders are in the NFL for sure.
Jamie, I'll slide over to you for a game that you want to talk about, some other updates in the National Football League from Week 7.
Sure. I'll toss this one up to you, Dave. Were you going to pick New England, Chicago?
No, actually.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm gonna talk about that one then.
I knew when I mentioned it, I could see in your eyes that you want to talk about it, because that's how long we've been on radio together. And you can ask Preems. I actually have it up on my computer right now, right here, the Bears and the Patriots, but it's not what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to be able to get into conversation with you about Mitch Trubinsky potentially. So I'll let you start the topic and we'll chat.
Yeah, no, I mean, New England, they love when they play young quarterbacks. I mean, and even when they're in a bit of a, I mean, you could kind of say it's a down year for defense. Losing Matt Patricia after last year, I mean, that's a big blow for them. Brian Flores is doing a pretty good job there, but they're struggling. They're missing a couple pieces, but that Chicago offense is no joke. I mean, they got a lot of weapons. Mitch Trubisky, I think, I looked at there's the next gen stats that came up, and he had an 8-yard touchdown run, and he ran for like 90 yards on it. Scrambled all the way back to like his own 45, somehow got a lane and just coasted into the end zone. It was unbelievable. And that game came right down to the wire. Trubisky threw a Hail Mary with no time left, and it got caught, and he went down at the 1. So that close. He was under tons of pressure, so he wasn't able to get the ball all the way to the end zone. He got hit as he threw, so unfortunately they weren't able to send it to overtime. But, I mean, it was still an exciting game. That Bears offense is for real. I wouldn't look too much into the fact that they gave up 38 points on defense. They're still a solid defensive unit. I mean, Khalil Mack is legit. They got some really good linebackers, and their secondary is pretty strong. But New England, that's just what they do. Week in, week out, they put up 30 to 40 points. You kind of got to know that. And you saw 2 weeks ago when they went against Kansas City, you're going to have to out-shootout them, or you're going to have an absolute shutdown D that's able to get great pressure on Tom Brady every snap. But I thought it was a super entertaining game to watch. It was in Chicago. The atmosphere was great. Watching it on TV, I had a ton of fun watching it. You could tell the crowd was into it. Lots of big plays on either side. It's kind of the way the NFL is going now. And it's like college, man. It's a lot of fun to watch.
So that's one thing I was requested before I jump into what I want to say was college football that they wanted to hear us more talk about. So I think if listeners who maybe remember, Jamie, we're going to talk more about it starting next week a little bit when it comes to before we talk about the previous week. So let's say we're talking about week 7. We would have started talking about college football at the start. I'm not the guy who follows college football that much in terms of, be totally honest. So I'm going to rely on my football experts to be able to provide the most news when it comes to that. So give the listeners that in terms of college football that Jamie just said to make me remember. But the game that I want to talk about going back to the NFL in week 7, and Jamie, just to actually echo off you first, Trubinsky was fantastic, I feel, in that game. And you know what? I think the potential is there. I think it's there potentially for him to be a star quarterback in the league. And I really think that that run was great. Him running 83 yards was the exact stat from what I was looking at. And I don't think he's going to be a running quarterback. He's going to run that each time. But you know what? He is a mobile quarterback. But, definitely the Bears are for real. I want to say that. I have respect for the Bears, and I do have respect for the Lions right now. They're 500. Good win against the Dolphins this past week. And I really feel that at the end of the day, the Lions are trying to get to that point, right? They're trying to get over that 500 threshold. I almost want to compare them to the Toronto Blue Jays in terms of almost being a 500 all the time, but they never had the playoff runs that the Jays had recently, that the Lions never had that. But point is, congratulations to the Lions getting that win. Hopefully they can get continuing with the wins going forward. Now, the Panthers and Eagles is the game I want to talk about, though, quickly. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers were down in the game, okay? They were down 17-0 going into the fourth quarter. Cam Newton was absolutely invisible. Not invincible. He wasn't invincible to the fourth quarter. He was invisible for the first 3 quarters. The guy had 0.5 points in the first 3 quarters if you had him in fantasy. How do I know? Because I was playing against him in fantasy. I thought I was going to get the win because of that. But that's to say I didn't get the win after that. So let me say, if you had Cam Newton in fantasy, you got that relief after you do 269 yards for 2 touchdowns later on in the game. But Carolina just battled. I was impressed with Carolina's defense to shut them down in the fourth quarter. I was definitely impressed with the offense, obviously putting up 3 touchdowns in the quarter. That's absolutely fantastic. The Eagles dropped to 3-4, defending Super Bowl champions. That's not what I expected this year from the Eagles. I expected the record to be maybe 1 or 2 losses, 5-2, 6-1, something like that. You just said, Jamie. So the Panthers right now improved to 4-2. I like yes. I really like kind of. Devin Funchess had a good game, getting that 62 yards and a touchdown. McCaffrey, 51 yards on average of 8.5 yards, 6 receptions. So that's receiving that he got, obviously, and with rushing, he had 29 yards. So, the rushing wasn't there maybe for Christian, but he was receiving. The ball was thrown around and spread it evenly at field with Cam Newton. You can look at Torrey Smith with 61 yards, Jarius Wright 37. Obviously, the ball was used a lot around the field, and you know what? Luke Kuechly had a very good game for the Panthers, just all around with the Panthers coming back and battling in the game. It was fantastic. Carson Wentz, though, I'm going to give credit to Carson Wentz getting 310 yards for 2 touchdowns. That offense there, just that defense could not contain Cam Newton in that fourth quarter, and that was some exciting football. I love when teams battle back and don't give up. Everybody that was watching that game in the fourth quarter changed the channel. I guarantee you people that aren't fans of Carolina or the Eagles changed that channel, and I'm hoping that the people that are true football fans that knew this game would be an exciting game didn't change the channel, because it was definitely exciting going down to the end as Carolina did not give up. So that was my game of the week that I wanted to discuss. Now, before we go to our next break, fellas, Dave McCaig alongside Jamie and Matt, talk about the trades that happened. I'm going to kick it off right now and start with Amari Cooper going over to the Dallas Cowboys. First round pick going back to the Raiders. The Raiders look like they're in sell mode a little bit there, obviously, after last year having as much promise as they did in terms of being maybe a playoff contending team, if not going a little bit deeper. Now this year I thought they would actually turn around. The Raiders hasn't been as such. So good trade or bad trade, we'll go around the table and get that reaction. Just talk about the other trades quickly before we go to break. Jamie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, for Dallas, that's a good... you're giving up a first-round pick, so that's kind of tough, but it really comes down for Dallas is they must be willing to pay him, because Amari's getting out of his rookie deal here, right? He's going into... They're going to have to pay him in the offseason or shortly after. And, you lose your first-round pick next year, so you're really banking on him. He's a young guy. He's a stud. You really hope that he can mesh well, and they really don't have that number one target this year. You got to replace Dez. They lost him. And even last year, Dez wasn't the same. You could see the drop-off. They have Cole Beasley, and he's been lighting it up in the slot, but teams kind of know that that's the only guy. Tavon Austin's been blowing the top off a couple times. But other than that, and for the Raiders, you have 2 first-round picks now. So it's pretty clear that John Gruden is content with his 10-year contract. He's really in rebuild mode. He wants to draft his guys. I think he's set. He knows he's got Derek Carr. I think he's sold. He's their franchise guy, and he's proved it in the past. They just have to be able to build on that and try and get a little bit more of an offensive line around him. Losing Marshawn for the year or two, potentially the year. Pretty much he's on IR at this point, and we'll have to see. He's eligible to return like week 16 or something, but based on the way their season's going, it's not even going to be worth it for 2-0 games. So I think the Raiders come out on top on this as of right now. Kind of have to see how Amari pans out. I mean, in 3 years, I could be like, all right, Amari's had 2 stud years, and Dallas has come back to the playoffs, and then Dallas looks great. And that first-round pick doesn't matter. But losing that first-round pick is huge. It's not like – it's different from other sports. Like the NHL comes to mind. Like, first-round picks, like, sometimes they don't play in the – they never play in the league. Or sometimes they sit in the minors for 3 or 4 years. If you're an NFL first-round pick, you're expected to start or – like almost start, with the exception of quarterbacks. Sometimes you'll draft a quarterback in the first round and they'll sit him. You're expected to produce, and if you don't after a few years, all right, you're either cut or moved, but you're usually surviving for a little while, save for a few. There's a lot less room for error as opposed to like the NHL or other leagues.
Preem, some final thoughts on some of the trades that went down last week in the NFL.
Yeah, just to quickly touch on the Amari Cooper trade, I think there's 2 fields of thought on this. It's do you do it with a known quantity, and Amari Cooper is obviously one of the top receivers in the NFL, or an unknown first-round draft pick. I mean, for the Oakland Raiders, there's really nothing to lose here. They weren't going to make the playoffs this year. They're probably not going to make the playoffs next year. So why not go into total rebuild mode? I think they made the right decision. You know what I mean? Sell any assets that are worth anything. They don't have much assets that are worth really anything. Their running backs are old and beat up. You're not going to trade them. You got Doug Martin and Marshawn Lynch, both guys that they're getting older. They're not any younger. Amari Cooper, yeah, he's a good receiver. Are they going to make the playoffs? Can they get some nice draft picks for him? Yeah, they can. So why not get them? Khalil Mack got a lot of draft picks. They're building a stockpile of draft picks right now. And that could help them trades down the future. They could use those draft picks to pick up guys. They could, you know what I mean? Trade up in the draft. So I don't mind what they're doing, and they're similar to what kind of the Giants are doing right now too. They're not going to make the playoffs. Anything that they can get some draft picks for, they're going to unload them, which I think is the smart move. And now I think in the way the NFL is now, that guys are more pro-ready when they come out of college than they used to be. So these guys can make sudden impacts where the first year they're starting. So getting those draft picks and increase your odds of landing guys that are going to be those impact players right away. So I don't mind it for the teams that are struggling. I don't think Amari Cooper is the difference between them making the playoffs next year or not. So in my mind, good move for the Raiders. But at the same time, it's a good move for the Cowboys. They needed a deep number one receiver, a deep threat, and they got him, right. They have Beasley in the slot underneath, and now they got a guy that can go over top, make the big play for them. So both sides, I think it's a smart move. A couple other trades. My Giants, they unloaded a couple guys, got some draft picks. Like I said, these guys weren't going to be the difference between winning or losing this year or next year, so I think they're good. Load up with some draft picks, look to rebuild. It's interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I know there's potential, maybe the Jags looking at getting a quarterback, but mid-season, I don't know how those quarterback trades would work mid-season. I mean, offenses are in place. It's really tough. But it'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't know who would want Eli Manning, but it'll be interesting next couple of weeks because there's talks about Patrick Peterson wanting out of Arizona. Guy's a shutdown quarter. He can step in and play on any defense in the league, and he's an absolute stud, and he can step in a little bit easier for a shutdown corner. You just put him in, lock him down on number one guy, and that's all he's got to know how to do. So that transition is a lot more seamless as opposed to a quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets traded. But yeah, so I mean, it should be an interesting. I think the deadline's with the 30th or 31st, so it's coming up quickly, and it'll be interesting to see a couple more moves.
I really want Peterson on the Steelers. I just think that's a great fit. I understand, but it's a good fit because look at that defense. We need somebody like a stud back there. It does make sense. Now, what fantasize, that's not the right word to use. What fascinates me is the Bell situation still with the Steelers, but that's another topic we'll save for later on because our time, with talking about Week 7 is coming to a little bit of a kind of a halt here. But I want to see what the listeners think about Peterson going to the Steelers. Am I right that he's going to go there? Because that's where I think he's going to go. I think the Steelers are going to make a bold trade. They know how tight that division is. They need someone on defense. They're willing to sacrifice the future, I think, a little bit. why not come to Steel Town and win a Super Bowl for the Steelers? That's what I got to say right there. So, fellas, we're going to wrap up Week 7. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's Week 8 discussion, and we're going to squeak in a little bit of Raptors talk before we let you go. We only got about 20 minutes tops. So when we get back, we got about 20 more minutes of hearing us chat here on the Game Sports Show. We're going to come back and wrap up In the Pocket, and then a little bit of Raptors discussion and a variety of sports talk if possible. Steve alongside Jamie and Matt at Sportscenter Bar and Grill here on the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Jimmy Antonello and Matt Premo. And we even got Kyle Leonard in the background there, just squeaking in beside us here at the table at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, looking sharp, drinking a nice, delicious beer, and wearing a toque because it's a little chilly outside, I'm guessing, as the winter months are becoming us here in Sault Ste. Marie. It's definitely a lot colder than 31 degrees like Kyle and I used to play baseball this past summer. It's very cold out there. So get your brushes ready and get your cars undercoated because the snow is coming. Fellas, but we're still talking about a sport that I really feel is not a snow sport, to be honest. I find it as a obviously a fall sport and a summer sport, to be totally honest. When I play football, I want to play hot outside. But that is still going on. The National Football League, we are only going into Week 8. So we got a lot of football left in the season. We talked about Week 7 and some local football, obviously, earlier in the show. But obviously, fellas, we need to get to Week 8, and we're going to discuss our picks for Week 8. We're going to recap the listeners on our records for our predictions that we have. And speaking of the predictions, we got a name for the trophy. It is called the Blake Winter Pick'em Football Trophy. So I'm going to short form it the Blake Winter Pick'em Trophy is what it's going to be called. Blake Winter, the brewmaster at Northern Superior Brewing Company, who brewed the game ale that is going to be released to the public in the coming week or two. That was absolutely delicious, by the way. I got to say, for fuck's sakes, it was great. That's the word I want to use. Game time, absolutely, when it comes to the game ale. So the Blake Winter Pick'em Football Trophy on behalf of the Game Sports Show for our records, and we're going to update the listeners right now. Obviously, we don't have Dustin's because he is as reliable as a Ford when it comes to no, I'm just kidding. I have no Fords. You got some good ones. I'm just kidding. I just had to think of something quick. I drive a Dodge. I had to think of something quick, but they're as reliable as the Toronto Blue Jays right now going into the playoffs, or even I don't even know. I can't even think of a reference right now. I don't want to sound like an absolute idiot, but. Right now, I do sound like an idiot. I kind of want to take that back about the Ford thing. I definitely want to take that back because if they hear that, they might have to say, "I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I just thought of something there." But, fellas, Jamie's overall record after last week finished with a 10-4 record last week. Jamie's now 66-39. Yours truly finished 11-3 last week with a 65-40 overall record. Now, Dustin's once again to be determined, as reliable as blank. I'm not going to finish that. Justin, Heichel had a rough week last week. He went 4-10. Really severely hurt the old season. A little flat tire, I think, last week. 54-51. By the way, he does drive a Ford, Justin. Jokes aside. Matt Premo, 60-45. Records indicate there. So Jamie in first. I'm in second. And Premo in third. Justin tentatively in fourth, but we definitely think he's in last based on Dustin's picks. And I'm sorry to chirp him when he's not here. At least his girlfriend's here somewhere at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. He can hear the chirp. So, and actually Dustin Grant is coming through the door, so that's actually pretty funny right now. I know you guys are getting ready for some football. So, fellas, week 8, we're going to go around and make our predictions. And as Dustin shows up here, we're saying how the fantasy football, we need to get his picks in as soon as possible. We're going to get the week 8 picks right now, and we're going to go around the table, be from Premo to Jamie to yours truly when we go around. And we obviously start from the Thursday game and work our way down based on the NFL Network's schedule. So we're going to start with going with the Texans and Dolphins on the first game. Preems.
Brock Osweiler makes his return to Houston, but I don't think it's a good one for him. I know he's going to be starting again, but I think the Texans take this one. It's a huge advantage being at home on a short week like this Thursday night game. I got Houston.
Yeah, not much more for me to say there. I'm going Houston here as well.
The winning streak for Houston keeps rolling. That's what I'm going to say. Clean sweep for Houston. Eagles, Jags, Preems. In London. Obviously, Preems. I should actually make sure I say that first, actually. It'd be the Eagles and Jags in London, Preems.
Well, I don't know if anyone heard their news today. Malcolm Jenkins made some pretty bold comments about the boat. Says, just alluded to the fact that Colin Kaepernick deserves a job if Blake Bortles is starting for the Jaguars. So, shots were fired. Let's see how whenever the Jaguars respond. They're kind of reeling right now, but I think that the Eagles they got to win to stay in the picture in the NFC East. I think they do. I think they get the win overseas. I know the Jags are used to playing over there and have more experience, but I think the Eagles get the win this week.
Yeah, I mean, what a week for comments back and forth. 2, 3, and 4 teams both really desperately need a win. Despite the fact that Jacksonville has gone six straight years to London, and they're 3-0 in the last 3 years, I'm going to go with Philly. I think Philly needs the win desperately, and Jacksonville's just reeling, and I don't think they're going to be able to recover.
So, clean sweep again.
You pick Philly?
I'm picking Philly. So obviously you got the Eagles getting, that's 2 straight clean sweeps, fellas. We're keeping it very interesting for the listeners. I don't need to echo more than what you guys just said. So I think we're going to have different opinion on this game, though, hopefully. I think you know where I might go with this one. Panthers-Ravens. Preems.
Oh, Panthers-Ravens. This is going to be a tight one. The spread right now is 1 point in favor of the Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore's been a solid team. I haven't picked this one yet. I was still up in the air, so way to put me on the spot. But, I think Carolina keeps rolling. Not according to Dustin, but in the background. No, I think Carolina comes on top. They had a big win last week against Philadelphia. I mean, they battled back, as we talked about. They had a slow start to the game, but battled back and got the win. I think they keep things rolling. Big fan of Christian McCaffrey. Got him on my fantasy team, so hopefully he gets rolling this week, and the Carolina gets a win.
Justin Tucker consistently.
Yeah, I'm going opposite of what you said, Preem. I think Baltimore is going to squeak this one out. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I think it's going to be very close. I think Carolina is going to learn their lesson that they needed to learn versus Philly last week. They squeaked it out in the fourth quarter. I just don't think it's going to be. They're going to be able to come back. I think they're going to be down, and I think Baltimore's just going to be able to hammer it. There's no way Justin Tucker misses any of his kicks this week after last week's heartbreaker. So I'm going Baltimore.
I'll make this quick and simple. Ravens in the same division as the Steelers. I'm going bias on this, and Cam Newton coming off a hot week. Go Panthers. Broncos, Chiefs. Preems.
Wow, man, Chiefs are hot. How do you bet against them right now? Patrick Mahomes looks like to be the man. He may be the MVP this year. Right now they're favored by 2 scores. It's tough to bet against them. I'm going Chiefs.
Not much else to echo there. I mean, I think Pat Mahomes is the MVP if he continues this. I'm going Chiefs.
Keeping it rolling, fellas. Chiefs, another clean sweep. Steelers, Browns, Preems.
Steelers, Browns. I mean, Steelers are heavy home favorites right now. I mean, look, they've had a tough couple weeks for the Browns. I think Hugh Jackson has taken over the offensive play calling. I don't know what's going on there with the Browns. Not sure if that's a good decision. I got the Steelers.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was reading that today, and I think that's just going to cause more problems than not. And despite the fact that it's a homecoming back to Pittsburgh for Todd Haley, but I'm going to go Pittsburgh. And I don't think this one's close. I think Cleveland finally has a blowout game, and they're not on the good end of it.
Well, we know where I'm going with that. Black and yellow, Steelers. Lions, Seahawks. Hopefully this splits one of the sweeps. We've had clean sweeps majority of these picks, fellas. Preems.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game, I think. But you know what? Lions coming off a bye. I think they need to stay in that the picture in the NFC North, and I think they get a win. I'm not convinced that Seattle's that great of a team this year, so I think Lions get a win here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been back and forth here a bunch. I think I'm going to go Detroit, though. Same thing. I mean, it's tough. I mean, and it kind of sucks when we all agree on the same games, but I just think Matt Patricia, he knows how to prep a team for a bye. I think that's one thing that despite...
They didn't have a bye. They played Miami.
Oh, they didn't have a bye. They beat Miami, sorry. But they're rolling. I think he knows how to prep for teams. They're gonna have an answer for Russell Wilson.
Another clean sweep, fellas. We're keeping it very interesting tonight here for the listeners. Lions, Bengals, Bucks. Maybe I'll be the one to split this. I have a feeling that I'm going to be the one to split this difference. But Preems.
Man, the Bengals have proven that they're a good team. Well, yeah. For the most part, they've proven they're a good team. I think the Bengals go home and they get a win.
I mean, man, it's hard to harp on them because Kansas City is that good, but they really looked poor against Kansas City on all facets of the game. They couldn't get anything going on offense, and they knew as soon as you could tell it in Andy Dalton's face. As soon as they came off the field, they knew Patrick Mahomes was going to go down and score. And I don't think they're going to do any better. I'm taking Tampa in this one.
I agree with you, Jamie. Going in the Buccaneers, bud. Mike Evans, couple TDs next week to put Ben's Dating Service Fantasy back on the map. If you don't know what that is, it's my fantasy football's name. I apologize to any authorities that disagree. The Bears and Jets. Preems.
Well, the Bears did a pretty good job. They hung with New England last week for the most part. It was a close game. I think they got the defense. I think they're going to give the Jets a little bit of some fits there. Sam Darnold, I think he's going to be in for a long day. I got the Bears winning this one.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of comments. I mean, I've been loving the Bears all offseason, and I'm really liking what they're doing so far. I think Khalil's going to just terrorize Sam Darnold, and that offense is too much for the Jets D. I'm going Chicago.
Clean sweep again, fellas. Bears around the table. Skins, Giants. Oh, there we go. Is this the stinker of the week? I call this a stink. The stink of the week, maybe. I don't know. Actually, maybe the Colts and Raiders might be. I don't know yet. But Preems, Skins or Giants?
I don't know. Washington's leading the division. I don't know if you can call it the stinker of the week.
I guess.
Washington's in first place. Alex Smith just continues to get it done. Not flashy, but gets the job done. Oh, I can't even pick the Giants here. This is terrible, but I'm going with Washington. It's just that bad right now in New York. I got to pick Washington.
It's official, fans. We have hit the breaking point for Premo. He's overhit. He's packed it in. To pile on, I'm going Washington.
I wonder what I'm gonna go with here. The Redskins. Spoiler. Wow, fellas, another clean sweep. This is getting insane right now. Colts and Raiders. Maybe this will be a breakup of the sweep. No, maybe not. Okay, Preems.
This is one of those weeks that you look at the list of games and it's there's only a couple games that can go either way. It seems like, but this is the week where there's gonna be a ton of upsets. Just watch. It's gonna be crazy. We're all gonna be wrong.
Hopefully we're not all wrong because we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, at least if we're all wrong together, the standings won't change too much. Heiko will have a chance to catch us. He should just pick opposite of us this week. Or Dustin, yeah. Just looking at this game, I mean, the Raiders, they're selling the farm right now. They're trading anything that's worth anything. For the mentality of the locker room, that's not good. I don't think it helps. I think guys might start to pack it in early because they see the management doing that with all these trades they're making to get ready your best receiver, your best pass rusher, your best player on the team potentially. So it's tough to get motivated if you're one of the guys in the locker room. So I'm going to take the Colts here. I mean, they looked pretty strong last week, although we were playing Buffalo. I think the Colts are going to go on the road and get a win against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to go Colts as well. I don't think Derek Carr has anybody to throw to now. I mean, he lost Crabtree in the offseason, losing Cooper now. I mean, they're really struggling. Marshawn's down. I mean, they're sellers. I don't think it's going to be a great season for Oakland. I think the big thing is just keep Derek Carr healthy all the rest of the year. And Andrew Luck looks good, man. He looks good. And it's going to be a good weather game in Oakland, so I'm going Colts.
Clean sweep again, fellas. Again, Colts. Cardinals, 49ers. Preems.
I think this is the stinker of the week. But same thing as I talked about in Oakland. You got Patrick Peterson requesting a trade. Things aren't good in Arizona. I don't see them getting better anytime soon. At least the Niners, I mean, they're a young team. They were looked like they were going to turn things around at the end of last year. Unfortunately, Jimmy G gets hurt. But I still think, they look good against Green Bay. I still think they're fighting to prove that they're a good team in the NFL. I got the Niners here.
I want to pick Arizona so bad, just like as an upset pick this week. But then Patrick Peterson came out this week and requested a trade, and I just can't do it. I got to go Niners.
Niners. Another sweep, fellas. 3 more games left to see how many sweeps we get in this. Packers, Rams. Here we go. I think I know what everyone's going to pick here, but Preems?
I think this is gonna be a high-scoring game, I think. A lot of points put up. Take the over if you're betting on this one. Definitely take the over here. I think that the Rams have a little more firepower than do the Green Bay Packers. Their receiving core is a little bit banged up. They might get Allison back and maybe Cobb back this week. We'll see, but for the most part, they're banged up. Aaron Rodgers has been looking great on one leg, basically, but I think a little more firepower for the Rams. I got the Rams at home.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think the difference is Aaron Donald. I think he's going to get home a couple times. I think he's going to get in Rodgers' kitchen, and he's not going to be – I mean, Aaron's unbelievable, but I just think L.A. is better at almost every position except for quarterback.
Rams. Yeah, clean sweep again. Saints, Vikings. Preems.
Well, big rematch from last year, playoff game. Yeah, in mini, big rematch. This game was maybe one of the best games of the playoffs last year. Basically it's a pick'em. Looking at the spread for this game, Minnesota's at home. I don't know. Saints coming off. The Saints are actually coming off bye this week. I think give them that extra time to prepare. I'm going to take the Saints on the road here.
Yeah, I'm going to completely agree. I think that New Orleans is going to get the win here. They're going to. I just think Drew's going to have some magic. I think Kamara goes off. I'm going Saints.
Finally, I'm not sweeping this bullshit. I'm going to say right now the Vikings. Sunday Night Football. I'm going Minnesota to get the win against the Saints. Last game, Holy Grace. I don't know if I'm going to watch this game.
Do we all want to say it?
Has everyone got the Patriots?
Yeah, Pats.
Tommy Brady and the Patriots, yeah.
They may as well stick Gronk out for another week.
You may as well stick Gronk, but the Bills should just run McCoy and give him a bunch of points so I can get my fantasy points up again this week. But the Bills are going to get absolutely throttled. I can say throttled there. That's the right word for that. They're going to get pedal to the metal, fisted in the rear end in this game, I want to say. I don't want to go that far, but I think it's going to be 48 to friggin' 13. I think they're going to miss a field goal. 48-13. Okay, McCoy's going to get both touchdowns for the Bills. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. And Tom Brady's going to have a rushing touchdown because that's how freaking horrible the Bills are going to play in that game. Monday Night Football, if you have anything else to do, maybe you can consider doing it. Gotta say, if you're a New England fan, you know what? Just maybe watch the game while you're cooking dinner, cooking for your wife, potentially whatever the hell you're doing. Go for a walk. Go enjoy the weather. I don't know. That's I gotta say about that guy. That might be my snoozer. I'm sorry. The Bills right now make me snooze about everything. So, fellas, it's going to wrap it up for In the Pocket. That's our picks. We got one thing I want to move on to quickly before I let you guys go if you have time to discuss this quickly, which producer Ghost is telling me there is still time, and it's the first time we're telling him that we barely have any time, or him or her. I shouldn't give away what it is by saying him or her, but it could be an it. But Preems, I want to talk about the Toronto Raptors, and Anto, obviously you get in on this as well. Starting off the season as hot as they are, Sports Illustrated labeling them as number one in the power rankings over the Golden State frickin' Warriors. Now, I know that's BS because I know Golden State's an absolute powerhouse, and I don't think Toronto is still as good as Golden State. But how good is that to put Toronto on the map? And Kawhi Leonard must look at this and be like, I can make a difference on this team. I can recruit players here and maybe have a dynasty here in Toronto. Who would have thought an NBA dynasty potentially in Toronto? Preems.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if they deserve to be the top spot in the power ranking. Obviously, Golden State's still the best team in the NBA. Reading the article, I took a look at why the guy decided to rank them number one in the power ranking. They had a back-to-back, and they sacked Kawhi in the back-to-back, and they still had come out and got a big win, and they had every reason to not win that game, but they showed up to play without Kawhi and got the win. And you got Danny Green talking about them being the deepest team he's ever played on. And this guy's played on championship teams, right? He comes from a winning culture in San Antonio, saying that this is one of the deep teams. These guys, they played it the right way. They play together. They got a lot of talent. Kawhi has been great so far. I don't think anyone can argue with what he's done since like the first week of season here with the first couple weeks in the season with Toronto. I like what they're doing. Hopefully, currently they're up by 8 points on Minnesota as we do this podcast. I like to see them keep it going. Hopefully, they can start out hot, build some momentum, and really separate themselves from some of those other teams in the East. I got to watch some of that game against Boston. Obviously, Boston's going to be one of the contenders in the East this year, and they really get a big win. So it's nice to see. I know everyone was kind of upset when their franchise player, DeMar DeRozan, was traded, but I think they're beginning to see what Kawhi Leonard has to offer, and he's a superstar for a reason, does it at both ends of the floor. Guy's one of the best players in the NBA, and he's proven that already with his time in Toronto. Definitely excited what they can continue to do here early in the season, and maybe separate themselves and continue to put up wins against top teams in the East. I think the West is still a stronger conference. I think there's a lot of good teams over there, so it's going to be tough for anyone that comes out of the East and to win a championship against the West. But it's good to see. It's good to see a fast start. Never hurts, right? Better than starting slow. And hopefully they can keep building that momentum, stay healthy, and separate themselves and be in the top of the East Division come year's end.
LeBron in a Lakers jersey is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, you know what? I kind of see that fit. I know the LA Lakers aren't going to be as contenders this year, but going forward, I think they will be. But Jamie, we're talking about the Raptors right now. The Raptors, Celtics, and Sixers are the team that I feel are the East threshold in terms of top teams. But I want to ask you what you think about the Raptors being top by Sports Illustrated being named number one in the power rankings. What that does for the city of Toronto, and maybe what that can do for the team, and what kind of attraction maybe that could be for certain players that want to have a chance to win a championship.
I mean, to be honest, my initial reaction to that, I think they were just buying on like Kawhi finally showed up and looked good and was happy, and he smiled and he laughed in the interview, whatever. But I think that's just more of an attention grabber. They haven't really proven anything yet. I mean, it's more or less the same team. You just traded Kawhi for DeMar. But they've added a few pieces. I still think it's an uphill battle. I think they're going to have to work. I still think they're a top 4 team in the East, don't get me wrong, and they're going to have home court for at least one series in the playoffs, hopefully 2 at least, but it kind of remains to be seen. It's so early in the year. I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic for the Raptors, but the Sixers are good. I mean, even the Pistons look real good, all right? The Celtics, they got all those bodies now. Everybody's back healthy. Hopefully they can stay healthy. That really makes a difference. And then Milwaukee's always a surprise there, right? You never know. Giannis is the man. He's huge. He can take over a game, no problem. So I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. I think it's more of just a headline grabber. I'm going to stay cautiously optimistic right now.
Definitely still exciting to be a Toronto fan in general. The Leafs doing as well as they are. You have the Raptors starting off hot. It's definitely fantastic for sure. And, I couldn't agree more with Premo and with Jamie with how the season is going for the Raptors, that it's definitely exciting as they are up by about almost 10 against the Minnesota Timberwolves right now as we sit here for recording. The Raptors against the Timberwolves against Jimmy Butler, guy who has requested a trade. And I always said that he'd be interesting to have on Toronto, but I can't see that happening. It just doesn't seem like a fit would be there, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like the lineup right now. I think they're very versatile. The Raptors lineup, they got guys that can defend multiple positions, which makes them hard to match up against. I like what they have. Jimmy Butler, to me, he's a competitor, right? He's proven that. He loves to compete. He gets the job done. He can put up a lot of points. I wouldn't want to disrupt what the Raptors have right now. I like their core. I like what they did bringing in Kawhi. I don't think he's going to disrupt what they already had. He's going to improve the team defensively, and you're not going to get much fall off offensively. I've been losing DeMar. Obviously, DeMar's he can pour it in on the offensive side, but I think Kawhi can put up points as well. I don't see the Jimmy Butler thing making sense. To me, it's interesting what's going on in Minnesota right now. They seem to be, he's playing hard and seem to be getting along, so we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe a little losing streak might bring a little tension in that locker room again, but we'll see. I like what the Raptors are doing, man. First in the East, 4-0. Couldn't ask for a better start to the season. The guys seem to be gelling quickly. They play together really well. I'm looking forward to them putting it together and hopefully finishing the top of the East.
Definitely between Toronto and Boston, but I can't see Toronto not finishing top in the East right now, it seems like, just by the way this team is built from top to bottom. Preems, I know you and Jamie have a place to. I know Jamie is going in to pay the bit of his bill. I know you have to do the same. And we have to pay our bill in general, as all three of us have to go. So I want to say thank you for you coming by. I know Jamie already said thank you to the listeners as he was walking on by, as he is in a rush. But Preems, we'll see you next week. Definitely exciting week in terms of football. We'll be there. We'll be in touch. And hopefully next week we're talking some positive news for Cora. And also we will be updating the listeners about what happened last week. Obviously I'm playing a little bit of sound bites from the game and whatnot. But good luck in the finals going this week. And also good to see you back on the show in a couple weeks off vacation. Approved. And I want to, hopefully the house thing's going well. We'll see you here next week.
Yeah, I know, appreciate it. Yeah, we're looking forward to Friday. I think we're as prepared as we can be. Hopefully next week when we're talking, we're preparing for the NOS semifinal here in Sault Ste. Marie. Just want to reiterate, get on, watch the game on Friday. It should be a great, entertaining game. Looking forward to seeing the fans pack the stadium there at Superior Heights, 7:30. Thanks for having me back on. Appreciate it. Sorry for the 2-week hiatus, but looking forward to being back again next week.
Jamie sat back down, already paid his bill. That's how quick Alicia is. Jamie, I'll let you say bye.
Yeah, happy to be here. I mean, happy to have Preem back. We give him a little bit of a leeway. He just bought a house. He's got lots going on. He's a busy guy. And, echo what he said. I mean, come out to the junior final Saturday at 1. All right, it'll be a nice day game. If you got nothing else going on, the weather's supposed to be beautiful, so come check out both football finals. But again, happy to be back, Dave. Looking forward to next week already. Hope I'll see you and Justin at the 2 finals on the weekend.
You will see us there for sure, with bells on, as Justin would say. There we go. Now, this week we'll be at Northern Superior Brewing Company, which will be tomorrow, Thursday, October the 25th. We will be there at 7:15 p.m. Myself, Justin, and we'll have special guest Kevin Kane coming on by, locally known in the world of hockey, previous GM of the Thunderbirds. He's obviously with Hockey Management. He's definitely keeping his arm into the hockey around the Soo. We're going to get his thoughts about hockey currently, locally, and just some stories, potentially with yours truly, how he was actually my general manager with the Sioux Thunderbirds earlier before 2010. So we're going to have Kevin on tomorrow for Northern Superior Brewing Company, and then we'll have another show on Monday at the Wicked Sister coming, and that'll be on the 29th. It'll be myself, Scott, Butch, and EJ, and then we'll be back here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill next week at the same usual time at 9 p.m. next week, talking in the pocket, and then we'll be at Northern Superior Brewing Company next week as well, but it will be the earlier session for next week, and we'll keep you updated as that goes along for times and for guests. Make sure if you're on the Podbean page to follow, you just type in your email. Keep an eye on when we join Spotify for podcasts. I want to save that for the end of the show. We will have that on cue, and we'll keep you in the loop. Don't hesitate to veer over to the merchandise section for t-shirts. You want to purchase some t-shirts. Also, don't be shy to hit up one of our sponsors. You got Sportscenter Bar and Grill, Northern Superior Brewing Company, the Salon, the Superior Pro Shop, North Shore Sports and Auto, Northern Careers in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, also Ken Belanger Hockey, Northern Sides, Wicked Sister, and Pingator Cleaners as well. And like I said, Northern Superior Brewing Company's The Game Ale going to be brought to you soon within the next coming weeks, and it'll be definitely available for purchase at some certain restaurants locally, and also be available in growlers and kegs, and hopefully eventually cans as well. So until tomorrow night, from Northern Superior Brewing Company, it's Dave McCaig signing off here on the Game Sports Show. Keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.